Hello from AuroraSpeedster. Statistics Canada will release its monthly report on employment change. Expectations are that 4,000 new jobs were added in December, which is lower than the previous change of 59,000. Better employment data is of course good for the markets. So if the release numbers will be higher than expected, markets will rise after the release. In November, Canadian economy added 59,000 jobs, while expectations were at 11,000. So there was a 48,000 jobs added above expectations. US dollar versus Canadian dollar reacted fast and strong. Just few seconds after the release of the data, USD versus CAD fell by 30 pips, which can be seen on this chart. Few minutes later, it continued lower for about 50 pips. When trading Canadian employment data, we should always look out for possible conflicts because US employment report is released at the same time. US non-farm payrolls have a huge impact on the value of the US dollar, which means it has also an impact on currency pair USD versus CAD. Positive US data lowers the value of USD versus risky currencies, such as Canadian dollar and Australian dollar. And negative US data pushes US dollar higher. This happens because of risk aversion. So when data is negative, everyone will seek shelter in safer currencies, such as USD or Japanese yen, and will be selling riskier currencies such as Canadian and Australian dollar. But we can use AuroraSpeedster to remove possible conflict by setting so-called conflict prevention system, which will be described in a moment. So to profit from Canadian employment report, we select employment change in AuroraSpeedster. Now we enter triggers, which will be -40 for buying trigger and 40 for selling trigger. We entered negative numbers in buying trigger because we will be trading USD versus Canadian dollar, which means that we will be buying this currency pair only if there is a negative surprise, which lowers the value of CAD, and selling it if there is a positive one, which increases the value of CAD. Then we record our coordinates by clicking this star button, moving our mouse over the trading platform and clicking on keyboard button B for buying order and keyboard button S for selling order. Because we would also like to use conflict prevention system, we click on the drop down menu and check CP and NT boxes on the left of the non-farm payrolls. Now we select this news release, and now we must enter desired triggers that will be used for preventing conflicts. We enter 20 for positive surprise and -20 for negative one. By doing this, we have just told AuroraSpeedster that it can only react to surprises from expectations that are in the same direction in Canadian employment change and in US non-farm payrolls, both positive for the currency pair or both negative. Because we also selected the NT box, if there is no surprise in non-farm payroll data, AuroraSpeedster will still click on recorded coordinates based on Canadian employment change data. So now we must select the primary news release, which is employment change from Canada, and we only have to wait for the news release. So good luck trading.